Welcome to MotoGP Mac, where MotoGP fans come to congregate and fanboys fear to tread.
That's right, Chicky Boot. They better fear to fucking tread.
Whoa. Yeah, you know, give them hell.
Fighting fucking Irish. Anyway, that was a bit of a snooze fest.
Fanboys, huh?
Yeah, that race was a bit of a snooze fest.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, it was. 100%.
Yeah. No, look, but it was a snooze fest, right? Marc Marquez, in his 200 MotoGP start, wins the race, hands down. No one could go near him. Do you know what I mean? And it's kind of this thing. If you don't give it to Mark in the first 5 laps, it's done.
Well, look, the sprint race was pretty good for a rain race. You know.
Yeah, but as you call them, survival races, or they're not like. But again, Mark made the sprint more difficult for himself than it needed to be. Do you know what I mean? You saw him when he went in way too deep. Learned his lesson today. Learned his lesson today. Controlled the braking. Like I thought he was going to do it again when Bez did get a good start. Do you know what I mean? And nearly leveled him on the brakes. But then Mark just let off a small bit and was comfortable then. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Did you notice, by the way, that the announcers on TV are now calling them survival races?
No, I tend not to listen to the audio on MotoGP.com. I will be very honest. They're now starting to get up there with my what's his name? No, what's his name? James Toseland in Superbikes.
Oh yeah.
You know, I'll watch the race on mute.
I don't blame you. I almost did that today. I just wanted to kind of, maybe it's something I was missing, but that commentary is just ridiculous. It's like they're talking about something completely different than what's really going on. I miss Simon, man. Simon, maybe that's why I'm how I am, because I'm used to hearing Simon and giving his technical expertise and really telling us something that we can use. I'm like, man, that's crazy, with Simon. But these guys, they're just saying whatever. Hey,
yeah,
the sky is blue.
This is why I like and I know I've said this before. Neil Hodgins, okay, bit of a dick. Do you know what I mean? But he comes out with, you have to respect him. He's a 2-time World Superbike champion. Do you know what I mean? He's raced MotoGP. He's been there. Then you have Michael Lav, and then you have Sylvain Gintoli, and you've Gavin Emmett and a few others, and they all bounce well off each other. If you get me, and it's just a better vibe within it. And then when you're watching, like Mike Lav goes through the bikes from front to back, Sylvain also tells, like, if you ever want to know anything about the tires, Sylvain Gintoli is the man for it. Like, do you know what I mean? He'll tell you like the lads warming up in the sprint race, and the Aprilia's having a hard time warming up the tires. Watch them as their thing. All they're going to try and do the first couple of laps is activate the tire, and you'll see them doing this and that and the other.
Well, you're always a good setup, man.
Oh yeah, but it's breaking it down to the layman's terms when they're watching it. You know what I mean? It's giving you more information of what's going on, or explaining like some of the issues that you might see with some bikes, like the front chatter or the rear chatter, or like good example was yesterday's. Like you could see Pecco. Now, if you knew what you were looking for, you could see Pecco in the wet. Couldn't get grip on the rear, so he couldn't accelerate the bike off the corners. Do you know what I mean? But you could see it even in the qualifying lap. You could just see like he couldn't get the what. Do you know what I mean? And anyway, that's sort of commentary, and I suppose that's where we as spectators for coming from years of Simon, expect the level of it to be and to be fair, and this has nothing to do with the commentators, but it's just not at Simon's level. Do you know what I mean? The level of detail that they're going into, it's more so thing. I personally would love an opportunity to commentate or to do a pit lane reporter job, but I'd probably get in trouble. So someone tell me I'm wrong, I'll punch them.
Yes.
Then I'll ask him again, are you sure I'm wrong? But no, I think it's good. Look, I think they're doing the best of what they have. Do you know what I mean? Replacing Simon is no easy feat, you know. And but there is people out there with like Michael Laverty is definitely one of the ones that people should be, or that MotoGP.com should be looking at getting him in there. Don't know, does he want to do that full time? Because he has other interests in teams and all of this. And I would presume the TNT Sports one is a little bit more relaxed than the Dorna one. But anyway, back to the race. Mark, he shone like a diamond in the goat test. That's all you can say about him. Yeah. You know, took control, no problem. Off he went, out for a Sunday afternoon poop.
He is the goat.
He's the current goat, yeah. Because you go back through all the years, there's goats of every fucking thing. So is he the current goat? He currently is, yeah. Look, hands down, he's like Mark in the Saxon ring and left-hand turns. Remember, this track only has 3 right-hand turns, lads.
Yeah.
You know, the rest of it are all left. Hey, Paul, we're making the left turn.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But you know, a good yardstick is going to be Brno next week, I think, for everyone. Do you know what I mean? The current, say, spec of MotoGP bikes haven't been there, so everyone's kind of going to be on the same playing field going in. Yes, they may know the circuit, but they haven't been there for years. Do you know what I mean? This sort of bike, that sort of bike. So I think it's going to be interesting. Alex Marquez proved himself right. You know, look, he's increased his gap this weekend over Pecco. Beat him in both races. Funny stat though is that Pecco, every time that he qualifies outside the top 10, he ends up getting the podium.
Yeah, he always did that. Always.
Yeah. And this is the first time, I was checking this out a while ago. This is the first time since, I think, as far back as I can got to was 2011. But in 2011 in Australia was the last time only 10 finishers finished the race.
I don't know what's up with him. I'm sorry, I can't believe that there's having bike problems and more bike problems that they're trying to straighten out. I think it's something in his head.
I don't know, man. I think,
you know what it could be? Nobody ever said it, but is he used to being the lead rider so much that it's bugging the shit out of him?
I don't think
he's always been the lead rider. Now he's not.
But where I disagree with you in that, right, is that if Mark came in and all of a sudden started beating him, right, in the case of at the start of the season, Joe and was beating him, even like testing all of this stuff. But Pecco's been saying the same fucking tune since February. Do you know what I mean? I can't feel the bike the way I need to feel the bike. Like, they changed chassis this weekend. They made a test. He's like, yeah, it feels better, but the bike feels a bit nervous, and they didn't race it in the Saxon. The other thing you have to kind of remember now is
every year he does that. Every year he's always come up in the beginning of the year and says,
and it normally settles, but this time it hasn't.
Yeah, it normally settles. Yeah, that Cody comes in, fixes
exactly,
it, and he's happy plan.
Now they went back to an early 2024 chassis, I believe, and he said, yeah, it feels better in a corner entry, but the bike is a little bit more nervous. Maybe that's what he needs. Now, they decided not to race it this weekend before anyone says, oh, he got a new chassis. He didn't. He still raced the original 2025 chassis. But I don't know. It's one of those things, man. Like, I was also always very sensitive at turning in racing. So at the initial turning point, if I just didn't have the feel, it wasn't going to happen. Pecco's also in his mindset now. He cannot. I think that's
with everybody. I have the same thing. I think that's
some fellas then could just push through the turn and leave it understeer, and it was fine. Do you know what I mean? I couldn't. I could never naturally do that. The only time I could naturally do that was in the rain. Do you know what I mean? If I needed to close the door on someone.
Yeah. But I also was much better going left than right.
Were you?
How about you?
I'm more right, yeah.
You're more right?
Yeah. But it was, anyway, Pecco is now on the stage, like even coming into this weekend, he cannot afford to crash.
No. No,
He can't.
Sure.
Right? He's what? He's 70 points behind Alex Marquez. He cannot afford to crash. Not a fucking dicky bird. If he is level or 5 points behind Alex Marquez, you'll see a different Pecco. You'll see a more aggressive Pecco in the middle of the races. But you could see it today. He was a second behind, got up to half a second behind. He says he hit, it seems to be the same issue that he has. Once he gets into the slipstream of someone, he loses the front, loses the feel in the front. Is it tire pressure? Is it fucking aero issues? Yeah. Is it fucking what? You don't know. But what happened to him in Saturday's qualifying and sprint was completely different to what happened in Norm. And that was that he actually had no rear grip. Never mind the front grip. Do you know what I mean? So anyway, I just thought it was interesting, that he did do it. Fabio Quartararo, I thought rode a really good weekend. Like, I was kind of putting my head in my hands Friday evening because he came out on Friday evening. He's like, "Yeah, I only have one lap pace. I'm fucked." Yeah.
Basically, one of the things that made him a good rider to me. I was always like, just so blatant, right? Hit you between the eyes. Oh.
It was just like, yeah, I've only one lap pace. But look, it was a good session from him. I was a bit worried about him right during the race when I saw Jack Miller go past him, but he pulled back through. Fermin Aldeguer, he's going to be a pain in the ass next year for some riders. I can tell you that. You know what I mean? You're going to get a year's
experience
thing under his belt, and he's going to be a pain in the ass because remember, he's going to be on a works Ducati next year as well. He has to be according to his contract.
Do you see after the race, by the way, in the pits?
No.
No, he was ranting and raving.
Oh yeah, but sure he was laughing and joking at the start of the race too. Then, though, do you know what I mean? So
I wasn't afterwards. He was ranting. He was,
I don't know why, because
he was pissed.
But he didn't qualify well, so that's going to affect the race, isn't it?
Do you know something? Look, and I'm going to say this as a Yamaha fan. He signed the fucking contract.
Mm-hmm.
And you can rant and rave all the fuck you want. You knew what was going to happen. Right? Because he was sold the same fucking story. Do you remember he got a 10-page list of the improvements that were going to happen in Yamaha, and they didn't do fucking page 1. You know what I mean? So,
didn't that happen twice, matter of fact?
Well, this is the second time, yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
it's a 20-page. It's actually 10 pages and another 10 pages. Yeah.
But like for me, I just like going, look, when you sign the contract, they are working on the V4. He's supposed to test the V4 in Misano at the test, lads. That's my understanding, that he is going to test that V4. So, realistically, I think there's a lot of development going into the V4. And that's maybe starting to hamper the other. Also, crucially important here now, lads, and Honda will have their heads in their fucking hands today, because it's coming up to the midpoint of the season. The concessions check-in. Do you know what I mean? Some may move, some may not move. Do you know what I mean? Some might move up, some might move down. So, like, realistically, getting a double no score this race and the next race is actually a good thing for some people.
Yeah.
Because you get concessions.
Yeah. I don't like concessions. You know that.
Yeah, but saying that, if you're a European manufacturer and you're very close to the edge, why not?
Yeah.
It's only fucking 2 races that you need to fuck up. Look at Aprilia this race, right?
It didn't hurt their reputation because they were, in second the whole time. So,
Well, Bez was.
Points, and they're not going to win the title anyway. So, why not get the concessions out of the deal?
Concessions,
yeah. Silver lining.
Yeah. So but Honda did well because Honda did well because I think the points only went down. The finishers only went down to 10th. Do you know what I mean? So everyone got a good haul of points.
Well, FIM and Dorner will probably say, "Oh, we're going to make for the sake of competitiveness, we're going to give it to them anyway."
It's written in stone.
Huh?
It's written in stone, that one. So constructors.
So is the unanimous decision for them getting concessions the last time. He said in the active competitiveness, we're gonna put it through anyway.
Well, no, all the teams agreed. So tough shit.
Yeah, they said I know that, but what he said was, if they don't, we're gonna put it through anyway, which was very irritating.
Yeah, what they said is that we're going to put it through anyway, right? But saying that it would have had to go to World Council, it wouldn't have been as easy as what he fucking said. And don't for a second think like that it is, right? Because at the end of the day, Dorna and the FIM would have to do it, and then the teams would probably renege on their contract to participate, which they could do. So just remember that there's always a Dorna do hold the control if Dorna did breach the contract in such a way that they did, which is in their. It's like the Formula One Concord agreement, right? Where it's set out the teams will get X amount of dollars or whatever per race or whatever. But it's also set out about the regulation changes, and if something happened that Dorna were in breach of the regulations or the FIM, the teams would have the right not to race.
I like everybody to be treated the same, and that.
Oh yeah, but I 100% agree with you, but I also think, right, it's not all Dorna getting away for hand. I'm fucking 100%. Gigi wanted this 800 engine, and these concessions were a way of Gigi getting what he wanted.
I've yet to hear why he would want that, or no offense. I've yet to hear that. You're the only person I heard to say that he wanted this 850.
There's been
blaming you for anything or saying you're wrong or whatever. You know what I mean? I just haven't heard. I haven't heard it again.
I think you need to start reading.
I don't why he would want it either. You know what I mean?
Of course, but there is a reason Gigi wanted. Do you know what I mean? And there is like Gigi.
It's a mystery why.
Gigi has found something, right? Yeah, and Gigi's not going to come out. Gigi's not going to come out and say, "Oh, by the way, this is why I wanted that engine."
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Until everyone else is there, is built and goes the wrong fucking direction or whatever. But he must have something sneaky up his sleeve that he already knows.
He must,
or he.
It's like wanting to clap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then saying that,
I don't doubt his ability to, do what he does. I agree. It's obviously for a reason, and they're winning now. So they've been winning for the past 2-3 years. So,
but I suppose the other side of the coin, right? Yes, okay, we don't agree with the 800cc engine, but I do agree that every race series needs a fucking shake up every now and then.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? And it does, right? Because we've gone through a cycle of these current regulations. Jesus, I don't know when was the last time we actually had an engine change.
It was
2007. Huh?
2007.
Yeah. Or was it 2011? I can't remember.
When he went from 850 to 1,000 again.
That's almost 20 years.
800 for 1,000 again, huh?
That's almost 20 years.
It would be 20.
No. That's when we went from 998 to
2007.
Was it the 990 to?
Yeah, that was when they went from 990s to 850s.
Okay.
In 2000.
Yeah, when did they change it back?
Oh.
But that's what like when you look at it, right? In you look at any sort of development, like in other racing classes, right? So, like Formula One, which is a pinnacle of four-wheel motor racing. Most of their regulations only last 4 or 5 years, right? Yeah. And the reason they do that is because by year 5, the engineers have already found fucking loopholes of the regulations that were set 4 years ago.
Yeah, well, this time, remember the guy was on from the FIM, the engineers. He flat said, this time they won't find a loophole.
They fucking will. They will. They fucking will. Jesus Christ! And just something to that Mr. Guy in the FIM, you're fucking stupid. Right? Because these are the best brains in the world looking at motorbikes, right? Understand, like they say about the guy like Adrian Newey, that he can see air molecules moving around the car. I mean, that he can see. Do you know what I mean? That's the way. That's how this fucking brainy this fucker is, right? They're these motorbike guys as well that can look at a bike and go, yes, this is how it functions. Like I always remember Mike Hemingway, God rest him, he's dead, right? Engine builder, fucking brilliant, right? Worked for Aprilia in the two-stroke era in the 500.
And they were the best. They are Aprilia too,
right? And he would be doing an engine, and he would be porting an engine, for example, right? All by hand, old school, no laser measuring,
lasers, computer,
AI, right? And you get your engine back in the crate and whatever, and he turned around to you and he'd say about 75 horsepower out of a 250, which isn't bad, right? Mm-hmm. And you go and you dyno, and it'd be like 74, 73, 79, and you're just like, fucking hell, like. And he knows not just
you've done that long enough. That's not hard.
But it is hard. It's because it's a technique, or it's a trained thing. And this is what I'm saying. Like these guys in the engineering departments, they're fucking unbelievable, lads. They are brilliant. Like they can get 300 horsepower out of a 1 liter motorbike engine. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? And that's okay. Well, that's fairly standard. There's still probably only 4 or 5 engine gurus in the world that can do that.
Yeah,
that understand it enough in their head to do it.
Yeah, and that's not aspirated. If you look at the comparing to like Formula One, now if you take the forced induction away, right, and the electric away, they don't make 300 horsepower per liter.
Right.
They don't. No. Well, they're 1 point. Well, I think they're up around 600-700 horsepower just from the ICE. And that's 1.6 V6
nice.
engine.
The what?
The internal combustion engine.
Okay.
Yeah. So they're in around the 300 horsepower, maybe a little bit more.
Close, but they didn't. I don't think they tapped it yet. But,
no, they have. They're up, I think, somewhere in the region of 750 brake horsepower.
Yeah,
so
I thought they made the most within the V10 or V12 era.
They did, but you see, then you have the MGUH and MGUK, right, which both add up another 400 or 500 horsepower or whatever, 400, 300 right now. Do you know what I mean? But the ICE is still an important aspect, but I think it's about 200, 250 horsepower that the electrics put in. Next year, the regulations change a little bit more on that. But like these guys are brilliant. And anyone that believes that you're writing down a regulation to challenge engineers on what you can and can't do, and believes that they're fucking watertight, is a fool. A fucking fool. Like Formula One launching new regulations next year. Adrian Newey was interviewed a couple of months ago. I watched the interview, and he said, "What did you do?" And he's like, "Oh well, when I looked at the regulations first, I thought they were watertight, and as I thought they were really restrictive. Now, as I've really reviewed them, they're not as restrictive as I thought." So all these guys in the FIA in Formula One are going, for fuck's sake. Do you know what I mean? What has he found? Do you know what I mean? And as I said, this guy can see air molecules looking around the place. But saying that,
what's the rule of thumb? What's the demon of engineers trying to get horsepower? It's always piston speed. Piston speed comes from having a small bore and a long stroke.
Yeah.
And that's what we have now.
Yeah.
The fucking tractor motors.
Yeah.
Now, if they can get horsepower out of that, God bless them.
Well, they're reckoning.
See what the hell they're doing on that.
They're still reckoning they're only going to drop about 50 horsepower on the original or on the current engines. And that's going to be at the original kickoff of it, right? A year's time, they're probably going to be neutral.
Do you think in a year's time they're going to be back at 300?
I think so.
I'll put money on that one.
I think it'll be very, very close to it. Because this is going to be their first time building it, right? So it's always going to be the lowest point that they're going to go,
Yeah,
right?
of
And
course.
the engine manufacturers and KTM have come around and said, we reckon it's about 50 horsepower of a drop.
Now, well,
The FIA,
KTM is
wait,
a
say that,
engineering company, though.
the Pirelli test that's happening in Misano, the requirement for the teams is to cut 50 brake horsepower from their engines. So this again gives you
Well,
Yeah.
the requirement of it is that they're dropping. So there's a mandatory drop of 15
You can do it in the ECU.
horsepower.
Yeah.
I
You can do it in the ECU. Like the Pirelli test is going to be less aero, so they're going to ask teams to remove some parts of their aero, is my understanding.
Yeah,
for the
that
test.
pushed
They're
back
also
like
going to ask
20
them to
millimeters, is what I just read.
Yeah.
50.
They also have to drop the rear ride height, so that can't be used, and drop the engine horsepower by 50.
They should have made. You know what?
That's-
That was stupid. They should have. I could say drop in ride height if they put in active suspension, but you know,
It sounds like they're designing the bike, or the regulations are built around the tire.
oh yes.
So if it's anybody to be upset about, you should be upset at Pirelli, because they're designing a bike
I'm
or
not
designing a
upset.
tire that cannot handle the aero, the power of the engine, everything else.
But no, but you see, like I think you're wrong there, right? Because Pirelli has only came in the last part of the regulation,
Yeah.
right?
Okay, I thought they had that figured out in the beginning.
The A50 engine was this time last year we were all told about it. Do you know what I mean? So Pirelli have been asked to come in to design a tire that will work with this regulation. Not okay, our tires are limited, and does that, if that makes sense, right? So Pirelli are like, okay, and they've done the thing. Okay, where they've obviously gone to the FIM and said, right, how much is this new expected aero going to do? How much do teams need to remove? How much do these new engines? How much is that going to do? Like, it's not. It's nowhere near fully scientific, right? Because the current 1000cc engines, they're going to be bigger and heavier than what the 850 engine is going to be, right? So again, the bike is going to be heavier. You know, it's not going to have rear ride height. Yeah, that's as it is. But the bike overall is going to be smaller, and quite considerably smaller in things. So the tire would completely have to be changed. Like, I find it very interesting what they're going to do Misano next year. That's when we're going to start seeing the 800cc or 850cc bikes testing. You do realize that?
I don't understand that though. By dropping to 50 horsepower, that doesn't make sense. Because say my bike has 310 horsepower, right?
Mm-hmm.
And yours has 320.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to drop mine 50. You're supposed to drop yours 50.
Yeah.
So,
but it makes perfect sense.
I'm still at 10 more horsepower than you.
But you had 10 more horsepower anyway.
Huh?
But you had 10 more horsepower anyway.
Yeah, but how do you judge that? How do you, because it varies so much. You know, dynos, vary so much and all that. It's kind of a.
That's
hard to test that.
But you can't.
It's a floating test, you know.
But it is, yeah. But like the Aprilia engine is not as strong as the KTM engine horsepower. Right. So what they're trying to do is, like, say, if you drop 50 off your thing, that's just getting a baseline for where you are and where you are as a manufacturer. So we know that the KTM, for example, uses its tires completely different, taking 50 horsepower off the engine. Do you know what I mean? Compared to the Ducati. So it's just a blanketing. I don't think it's right that they go in and say, oh, everyone limits their engine to 250 flat, right? Because as you said, next year then you could go, okay, you could actually be taking 70 brake horsepower off your bike, and then when the tire comes, that's not what it is. So I think it's right that they're doing it that way to every manufacturer, because then they're getting a range of, okay, this is the window that this tire needs to work between. It's like between this tire wear level and that wear level, or this amount of horsepower being put through it, or that amount of horsepower.
I don't know why they have to have a mandatory drop. Why don't they just have it? Whatever the drop is, the drop is. You know what I mean?
But that's what they're saying. That's why they're having the mandatory drop of 50 horsepower. So your current engine, they're saying 50 horsepower off of that. Then that gives them the operating window that they need to use for that tire. So Yamaha obviously would be 250. KTM could be 270.
Yeah.
And there you have a window.
Yeah. I would think Pirelli would just come up to the manufacturer, and say, "What kind of range are we looking at for what my tire has to handle?" You know what I mean?
But that's all hypothetical, Jake. You know, what sort of range do you need to do? Take 50 off, run your bike for a day. We'll get the data. We'll then know. We're like, so in their view, and they're right to. We're the tire manufacturer. We know how tires work. We just need you to take 50 horsepower off. We then know what's the operating range. Because what you see with the current Michelins is that there's a very, very tight operating window within them.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And setup window. And this is probably what's wrong, is that if it's too tight, then only some riders can ride it. If you make a decent operating window within your tire, then majority of them.
Right.
They're going to be building the tires. Joe, they're going to get a good understanding of the aero, building a tire for it, and away we go. You know, so I think
I was gonna say it's kind of detailed. I mean, it's kind of deep as far as designing a tire that can be used pretty much everywhere, all over the world, basically on every track.
I'll put it to you this way: if you build Pirelli build a good tire that has a decent operating window, we will have better racing than we have now. Why? Because we have more people able.
We're not really not going to have a bias to the tires,
yeah.
Right? Because Michelin had a rear bias tire. I mean, the rear tire was better than the front tire. You had Bridgestone, which had a front bias, meaning the front tire was better than the rear tire. Now, Pirelli supposedly had even bias between both of them. Both of them had the same.
We could end up with a neutral bias, but you never know.
Neutral bias. That's a good word for it, yes.
So we could end up with that, but I don't know. I just think it's.
That's what they're saying it's going to be. By the way, that's the humbug about that. The rumor mill.
Yeah, I got you.
We'll have to see.
We will, yeah, we will have to see. Looking at the team's champion or the constructor championship, Yamaha really is falling way well behind now with 118 points. Even Honda's up at 141, KTM is at 150, and Aprilia is 161. Then you have Ducati at 393.
Well, you know that the construction title usually is you have one rider that makes the
Yeah, Ducati have 3.
Now Yamaha has 1, so if Quartararo goes down.
Yeah, and this is the interesting.
They should have a different setup for the construction title, different point setup.
But again, it's there where you're looking at it then, right? For example, just to kind of reiterate our point that we used to always and still always do say, right, is that it's when you look at the likes of like Fabio Quartararo on them, right? I said Yamaha had 118 points, right?
Mm-hmm.
Out of those 118 points, Fabio Quartararo got 87.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Well, look at Marquez back in the 2016.
It gets worse, Jake. It gets worse.
Yeah.
Out of the Aprilia Racing's 161 points.
Yeah. One guy.
Marco Bezzecchi has 130.
Yeah. Yes.
Right? Out of Honda's 141, Johan Zarco has 104.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So my point here is they're all a pile of poo, right?
Yeah.
They are like Ducati is just wiping the floor with them completely. Like you even look at, right, Acosta right, has 99 points of KTM's, what, 140, 150? I can't remember. Let me check it. Constructors. KTM has 150 points, and Pedro Costa has 99 of those points.
Oh,
scary! It's fucking scary, lads. Absolutely scary.
News for your KTM riders. I'm pulling this out of the hat. Rumor mill is that the backers of the new owners of KTM said that they want to go racing for the next. They want to sign up for the new.
This is very interesting. Yeah, and I think we need to be a little bit careful here. It's like, yes, there's been the rumors that Badger want to. I think it's Badger want to stay involved. Want to stay involved in it. But again, look, yes, they are the backers, but it's still in a very big financial hole.
Yeah.
Right. So, they would have to invest a serious amount of money into. Also, Jake, and you have to realize this: they are now already a year behind.
And
like,
what area are you thinking about?
Yeah,
you're behind
development.
Oh, yeah.
You know, yes, they were developing, not as on a shoestring budget. Do you know what I mean? Yes, okay, they might have got the bit of financial freedom now, but I don't think it's anywhere near what they have done. I think they've also lost their engine genius to Honda.
Yes.
So whatever they've been planning for 2027, if they have been planning anything for 2027, you know, he now knows what they're going to do. So it's a major kick in the balls to them.
Yeah.
And it is showing Honda being quite aggressive in their in their recruitment. Do you know what I mean? Because I would think it would took a lot of money to get him away from there.
I always figured that one thing about that is, you ever heard the expression "too many chiefs and not enough Indians"? Honda hires you, who's the best at one, and then they hire me, who's the best, and they hire CBS the best. When we get together, it just falls apart because we start banging heads.
Yeah, but I think what Honda will be quite good at is managing the situation there. Do you know what I mean? And like, I think what they've done with the what's his name from Aprilia.
I mean, it's admirable that you're trying to at least, you know, get out of the. They're hiring European engineers. And that's a smart way to go. The
but they hired what's his name from Aprilia, who's actually going to, I can't think of his name now. But they hired him from Aprilia at the end of last year, and he's starting to make the team click. And you can see it in Honda that they're starting to click. So when they be bringing him in, when they're bringing in these new people, they'll fall in under him. Do you know what I mean? And he'll be like, "I'm the fucking top dog here." Do you know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying. You can have a bunch of top dogs and then go, "Okay, now what do we do?"
Yeah. But I think they'll have the right technical structure. Do you know what I mean? And I think like everyone will roll up into the technical director, which is him, and he'll make the decision. So yeah, but I think
get their fingers out of it. They can't second guess them.
But I think that's what they're going to try and start to do. Is they're going to start to try and leave these fellas get on with it. Do you know what I mean?
They're smart.
If they're smart. But look, again, we have Honda may always want to have some sort of control in there. But look, again, I suppose where I look at things is, again, you know, Honda is, if you remove Zarco and if you remove Fabio Quartararo, Honda is ahead this year.
What did you say? They're what?
They're ahead this year. If you remove both the top riders of Honda and Yamaha.
Okay.
Honda is ahead. They've worked on it. Like even the points even say it. Do you know what I mean? But like you do see an awful lot more Hondas up closer to the front than thing. And that's the simplicity of what we said months ago. Judge them on their second
You always
or
had that.
second bike. You know,
And you know what? They should be with all the money they have, for God's sake. You know what I mean? With all the funding that they have, they should be.
Alex Rins today was 1.8 seconds a lap slower than Marc Marquez.
Who was?
Alex Rins.
Really?
1.8 seconds a lap slower on average.
That's
fireable.
Yeah.
I like Alex Rins, just in case anyone knows. I like Alex Rins.
Yeah.
But there's no way someone could be that far behind.
Yeah, because Rins, if nothing else, he had speed.
Mm-hmm. He had speed and he had zero fear.
Yeah. Yep. Balls of brass.
And I just struggle to see what's happened to him.
Hold on, you saying has or had?
I think had.
I think had too. I don't know about has. I think had.
Yeah.
Or you could say has, but he keeps crashing because of bikes. He's fighting him. You know, he's fighting a whale. It's hard to tell which way.
I mean, if Jack normally crashes, but he's not. So I mean,
but you can take your hand off to someone who crashes, right? Like I still think John Muir, right? He's crashing from the skinny places. He's not crashing from 15th place.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? He's in the top 10. He's forcing the fucking issue, or he's trying to force an issue, or make something happen.
Right.
Just don't see that hunger from. And I'll say this: I don't see that hunger from Miguel Oliveira. I don't see that hunger from Alex Rins. I don't see that hunger from Raul Fernandez. And I'm not shitting on these guys. I'm just saying I don't see the hunger that I see Jack Miller last year on a he's on a 1-year contract. You know, Jack going out there, he's going to fucking try, or he'll fucking crash try it. And you take your hat off and you say, respect, Jack. Yeah, you got into 5th place and you ended up down in 15th. I don't really give a shit. Do you know what I mean? You were there, you were given a fucking holly. Yeah, that's what we go to watch the race.
Full speed ahead. That's Jack.
Yeah,
he's pushing. Jack is giving it 110%. He's pushing. He's the other guy in the back.
Ralph Fernandez. I don't think he had drive from the day he got on.
Well, look, the last couple of races, and I will be fair to him, he has done pretty well. Joe, he's a couple of top 10. Now today he looked in today, right, with all the people crashing.
Yeah,
I don't think he would have been anywhere near the top 10.
10 speed because it made 10th.
Yeah, so for me, when I look at it, it's like that. But we move on to Brno next weekend. We haven't been there in a good few years now. I don't know if you remember Horsepower Hill.
Yeah,
which is the hill up into the. Yes. Can't wait to see what happens there.
It turns. It goes up and up and up and up.
Yeah. But and then there's the chicane up the top of it where you can actually pass through that chicane. It's fucking brilliant. Do you remember Brno?
No.
Yeah. You'll like it.
Yeah, and like it used to be known as Horsepower Hill. Actually, in the early noughties, it used to be known as Honda Hill rather than Horsepower Hill because Honda used to have killer fucking engines that would produce the most horsepower and get up the hill.
The NRSs, NSRs.
It's good close racing. I mean, yeah.
Now, Brno could be one of those places like Sachsenring that it could space out very quickly. You just don't know, and it is one of the things that it is a danger in that we're seeing now is that the races are being so spread out. Do you know what I mean? Fans like. I will be very honest. I think it was about lap 6, and I picked up my phone to have a look at Facebook or whatever it was. Do you know what I mean? Rather than watching the race. Do you know what I mean? I always judge that as a measure of like how actually interested in this race are you if you're picking up your phone. Do you know what I mean? To look at something else. Yeah. Different now if you're picking it up to answer it, but if you're picking it up to look at something different. But again, so Brno this weekend will be a good one, I think. It's a clean slate for majority of the riders there. So yeah. Can't wait for it.
Oh, and World Superbike did a good race, by the way.
What did you think of Johnny Ray's helmet? I saw it there the other day. Is a tribute helmet for Joey Dunlop. It looks absolutely mint.
Really? Okay.
Mint. Yeah. Definitely try and.
Well, the last day he was running around at 5th. I didn't catch race 2 yet.
Yeah. I haven't caught it either. But I'll try and listen to it in the car.
Surprising is that the Moto. One thing I shouldn't spoil it for anybody, but Raz is catching up. The Bulaga. All right. And the Pomoda right out of the box is strong with Alex Lowe's.
Well, Alex is a good rider too, just to be fair.
A long time since I've seen a racer come out of the box and be like running on pole. They got pole.
Yeah.
And was running 3rd. When is the last time you've seen a bike come out of the box?
Oh, were they on pole this weekend?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, not taking anything away from Alex, but it is a home Grand Prix as well. Do you know what I mean? So he has, and he raced around that circuit for years. So he'd have. Now, look, saying that, don't get me wrong, it is a good thing. But again, someone on their home Grand Prix on a circuit like that, you kind of get there's a bit of like, you have a sneaky few lines around there. Do you know what I mean? Because we had Ryan Vickers as well, who was doing pretty good as well during. I think I caught a bit of the sprint race this morning, and he was doing fairly good in it, like 7th or 8th place or something, which isn't bad.
But it shows how good of a setup guy that Alex Lowe's is, because the Pomoda runs the chrome moly steel trellis chassis, and you know how hard they are. You got to get them spot on. Yeah. We get them to handle right. I mean, they'll handle well, but you got it. They're real touchy on setup.
Right.
They always are. I don't care if it's the Honda it was like the best hand on the bike on the track. But if you screwed up on the setup, it was all over the place. It was like
you had to get the setup right for it to be a good one. Yeah. Anyway, all good on that one. So I suppose
who's gonna win Brno? We're gonna go that today or what?
Yeah, we're gonna go that one, and then we're gonna wrap up.
Well, it's not gonna be a prize out because you gotta go Marquez again, of course. He's gonna charge up the hill with the Ducati horsepower, and
for both races.
Yeah, for both races. Man, maybe they will. I don't know. God. And Quartararo, we're going to give it Quartararo, even though it's horsepower. I'm going to go Quartararo for 2nd. And
3rd?
We'll go with you. No, I don't want to say I want to do them. Poor kids running so short. I won't run them. I just said they don't have any horse. They don't have the horsepower. Alex.
Okay.
I'm gonna
I got my Quartararo call in before he snatched it up on me, Mac. Rick.
I was gonna say Mark Alex 1, 2, the 3. I don't know about the 3. Maybe
he's gonna win 3. Alex gonna win 2nd and 3rd.
No, Mark and Alex 1, 2. And then I don't know about the 3rd one. The 3rd, I would say Bez, but I'm not gonna go Bez. I go Digi.
Oh, that's a good one. Digi.
Yeah.
Yes. Just gotta stay on 2 wheels, that's all. But he's been really Digi's had some speed lately. I mean, really good speed.
I'm gonna go Acosta in the sprint. Just be different, because I can fucking pick the same as him.
You're shooting at the dark right now.
Yeah. I'm gonna go Acosta in the sprint, Mark, and then Pecco. And in the main race, I'm going to go Mark, Pecco, Bez.
Mark Pecco.
Yeah. Looking at the circuit in Brno, right? There's a lot of high speed and low speed corners, and I think Alex Marquez is going to get worn out. That's the only reason I don't think he'd be on the podium. There's a lot of seriously hard braking. So like you have a massive braking into turn 3, turn 10, turn 11, turn 13. They're all fairly heavy on the brakes. If you get that little squiggly bit between turn 5 and turn 9, a lot of what is it? Turn 5 is a right-hander. Turn 6 is right-hander. 7 is left-hander. 8 is left-hander. 9 is right-hander. So there's quite a Mickey Mouse section in it, if you get me. So. So I think he's just going to wear out there. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, it will all be interesting anyway. But I think on that bombshell, we'll wrap it up there for this week, and we'll see you all again next week after the Brno Grand Prix, and then it is into the MotoGP holidays.
The break,
summer break. Yeah, 4 weeks of no MotoGP, and how the fuck am I going to come up with content for 4 weeks?
Well, you can talk about the ZX6.
Yeah.
That's a screw job.
One second now, right? Yeah, Yamaha already fucking hate me. Honda already fucking hate me. Do I really want to have another Japanese company come knocking at my door and be fucking ready to shoot me? No, thanks.
Well, it's the truth. I mean, they're just sticking up people's ass with that one.
Anyway,
they're taking a bit quick. They're taking it off. They have the number 5 bearings going bad. They're loosening it up, right, and then retorquing it without changing the bearing. Once that thing's been over torqued, okay, and you ride it, it's that you're weak in that bearing. You're supposed to change it.
Oh well.
Remember we said Japanese really fix things fast, but they Mickey Mouse it sometimes.
Oh well.
There's a perfect example. We called it beforehand.
Oh well. That's the jump of it. Anyway, on that bombshell, we'll wrap up and we'll see you all again next week.
Take it easy.
Have a good one, folks.